Hi guys, I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is just going to be a quick one. This is a vocal mic shootout, and I didn't have a lot of time to make this really in-depth. This is something I might come back to in the future, but for today I had what was or is my number one microphone for vocals, which is an SE Gemini II. I'm hiring in a Neumann U87Ai for a top secret project, which I'll tell you about in a few weeks, but right now I'm not allowed to say anything because it's all under NDA, so I'll let you know. If you're watching this and it's dated a while back, then check the latest videos in the meantime. And the curveball, or the third mic, is I'm throwing in there an MXL V67. It's a mic that I've had for years and years, and I kind of put down to being cheap because it was really inexpensive. A long time ago, that was my number one microphone in the studio. That was back when we had practically zero budget, and it sounded better than anything we could afford at the time. I had used things like Neumann U87s at that point, but having just graduated from university studying music production, it's not as if I had the over £2,000 to pay for the Neumann. So this is a quick clip. Here's a shot of all three of the mics. You can see that they're all kind of around a little triangle around a pop shield. So I was singing right in between all of them so that the angle between the capsules was the same each time, which meant that they were in line, they were as phase coincident as they could possibly be. It meant that I only had to do the take once, and it meant that it was variations in performance wouldn't affect the result. So I made sure all the levels were matched. We used a Focusrite Octo Pre Mark II Dynamic because it's the only unit that I currently have available that has more than two preamps that are identical, so we could gain match them, and then we couldn't say, oh, the preamps were different. So I have better preamps than this, but not necessarily ones that can do the same thing on every channel. So, without further ado, here's some of the vocal from my cover of David Bowie's Space Oddity.
Tell my wife I love her very much. She knows. Ground control to Major Tom, your circuit's dead. There's something wrong, can you hear me, Major Tom? Tell my wife I love her very much. She knows. Ground control to Major Tom, your circuit's dead. There's something wrong, can you hear me, Major Tom? Tell my wife I love her very much. She knows. Ground control to Major Tom, your circuit's dead. There's something wrong, can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear? Am I floating around my tin can? Far above the moon. Planet Earth is blue, and there's nothing I can do. Can you hear? Am I floating around my tin can? Far above the moon. Planet Earth is blue, and there's nothing I can do. Can you hear? Am I floating around my tin can? Far above the moon. Planet Earth is blue, and there's nothing I can do. Can you hear? Am I floating around my tin can? Far above the moon. Planet Earth is blue, and there's nothing I can do. Can you hear? Am I floating around my tin can? Far above the moon. Planet Earth is blue, and there's nothing I can do. Can you hear? Am I floating around my tin can? Far above the moon. Planet Earth is blue, and there's nothing I can do.
One thing that I noticed that was really odd to me when I was switching backwards and forwards between the vocal takes, it seemed at first like I didn't really like the U87 sound. It sounded muffled, it sounded quite thick. Then my ears adjusted and I realised that the top end was still there in the microphone, it just wasn't boosted, but the mids really came forward, which meant the vocal with the same level on the preamps was standing right out. And the difference was more apparent to me with the effects chain on, which you heard clean raw vocal, and then with an 1176 slate tape and the virtual console channel, the VCC. With those turned on, the difference was more apparent between the U87 and the Gemini. The Gemini really had quite a scooped kind of tone, I thought, which was really interesting. The Gemini still got these stock tubes in it, but at first I thought maybe that was the difference between a tube mic and a solid state mic, but if you listen to recordings of like a classic U47 tube mic, that's got quite a lot of mids. So maybe that's the sonic signature, if you will, of the Gemini, is to have quite an airy top end. The real surprise was the MXL, the V67. I mean, was the Neumann better? Yes, of course it was. But I didn't think there was nearly as much in it as I thought there would be. And the interesting thing there is, I think I may have lucked out years and years ago recording with that mic, because it sounds very it's essentially a U87 clone. I mean, like I say, is it better than the U87? No, it's really not, and I'm sure that MXL as a company would say the same thing. Difference is, when I bought that mic, I think the price was £150, £160, and the price of a U87Ai is over £2,000. Depending on where you get it from, you might get a better deal, worse deal, but that's nearly 20 times, well, do the maths, it's about 12, 13 times the price for one microphone to the other. That's a big difference. So for project studios, budget studios, I think I may have found a winner out of those three. And interestingly, I think I may be moving on from the Gemini as my go-to mic, because I think that mid-rich forward sound will suit mixes better. So I hope you've learned something. I certainly have. Sorry it was only a quick one today, but thanks for watching. If you really enjoyed this, hit the like button. Please subscribe if you haven't already, because there's more of these comparison videos coming very soon. And if you've not already looked at our Patreon campaign, which helps us to do these kind of videos, check it out, it'd be really appreciated. I'm Adam Steele for the Hot Pole Studios. Thanks for watching. See you soon.